And since its debut 3 weeks ago, South Texas Crime Stories, the podcast has kept us all intrigued and listening. One of the hosts of the shows, Erica Hernandez, joins us now to talk about the last 2 episodes. Hey, good morning.
Good morning, Steph.
Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thanks for having me.
So we want to talk about the first episode. This was all about the disappearance of Joshua Davis. So what was episode 2, the Boneyard, about?
So this was a case from 1999. So we went back to the 90s in this case. It was a murder here that captivated the city because it was just shocking in every which way. This was the murder of Monica Rizzo. And in this case, there's a photo of her there with her husband, Leonard Rizzo. What we kind of dived into is the timeline into this case and when her remains were found, which were 200 bone or more bone fragments that were found in her backyard. An interesting aspect to this case, it's still an open case. Nobody's ever been charged in this case, so we talked about that as well, how the investigation has kind of evolved since then. There's a lot of interesting factors in this case, maybe misses as well, in the investigation that we talk about. So we really had a lot of great feedback on this story as well. We've heard that Leonard Rizzo may still be around, her husband. And so we are working to try to reach out to see if we can get him, interview with him about this case, if he's willing to talk, as well as Monica Rizzo's father, who's reached out to us and is wanting to talk about his daughter's death. He wrote a book about it. So we have some interesting follow-ups on this story.
Oh, that would be, especially to talk to her father as well.
Yes.
And then, you know, the latest episode, one many of us may be familiar with.
Yeah, the latest episode was about the medical center rapist. So this wasn't as long ago. It was more recent. We really dived into this case, but we also took it from the standpoint of the victim and the survivor. So we have interview in this podcast with the Rape Crisis Center San Antonio, who really gave some really interesting insight in what victims or survivors go through after sustaining an attack such as this. We also had an update on the case. So Anton Harris was convicted in 2020 on one of the cases, but there's still 4 cases pending, and he has another hearing coming up at the end of May. So it is a story that will be continuing on as his cases play out in court. There was 5 charges, so there's 5 cases. Only one he's been convicted on. So we're following this one closely as well, and I'm sure there's going to be more on it later in later seasons of South Texas Crime Stories.
Yeah, it was interesting, that case. I remember like how they caught him and also how young he was. Very
I mean, he was 18, I believe, when he was arrested for these crimes, but had been committing them as early as when he was 16. So that was something else we talked about in the podcast, as about his age when these crimes were committed, and the area that this, you know, everybody was kind of on edge at that time and in that medical center area because they just didn't know when this person was going to strike again. So we talk about that as well with the Rape Crisis Center, about how that affects a community.
Yes, I remember that. And also, what can we expect from the upcoming episodes?
So we have 2 more episodes left for season 1. The next one following on Tuesday is the case of a 1999 abduction and death of a 9-year-old girl named Mary B. Bettis. She was kidnapped from Market Square during Fiesta, and the story ends up having a bigger story around it because the person who kidnapped her and murdered her was a serial killer. And so we dive into that case as well. And then the final episode of this season will be about a cold case from the 1980s that was recently solved, and then that person was finally in court. So we talk about that trial. I give you a closer look at how these trials take place and what happens within them. We'll hear some testimony that you may not have heard when I was covering the trial of Larry Moore. But those are the last 2 for season 1. And then we'll have season 2 coming up after Memorial Day week. No. And if you want to hear or see any of the podcasts, you go to scan this QR code. It'll take you to the webpage where you can subscribe to hear them on Apple and Spotify podcast, as well as sign up for the newsletter, which drops every week with that new episode.
All right. Well, we look forward to the new episodes. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Steph.